Today's video is sponsored by War Thunder. Thanks to them for supporting the channel. Hello friends, this is Grief speaking. So last week we dove into the world of Something is Killing the Children. I know I left you guys on a bit of a cliffhanger, but we're gonna wrap up the Archer's Peak arc today. In this second half, we'll get more action, more dead children, and also a better understanding of the House of Slaughter and how they operate. The world building is fascinating in this series. It kind of reminds me of John Wick for some reason, how there's this underground organization hiding in plain sight. Before we dive in, I want to mention that I recently launched channel memberships. So far, we've done 2 Guillermo del Toro films in the movie club, Frankenstein and Pan's Labyrinth, so that's been a lot of fun. Also, for Stage 2 members, there are stickers and holiday cards with handwritten notes shipping out soon, so sign up to get them before Christmas. Anyway, we have a lot to get through, so let's get into the video. This is Something is Killing the Children Explained, Part 2. So let's get into it with issue number 9. This one starts off with 2 teenage boys looking for their younger brother after they intentionally ditched him in the woods. One of the brothers looks down and sees what looks like blood on the ground when suddenly Tommy Mahoney jumps out in front of them and yells at them to run. Before they even have a chance to process what's happening, one brother is suddenly stabbed through the chest by one of the 5 monsters which have now surrounded them. The remaining kid looks at his dead brother in horror with tears filling his eyes, and Tommy just says he's so sorry, feeling like he's responsible for leading the monsters here. Back at the hospital, Erica shows up in James' room. He seems pretty upset with her, saying he thinks when this is all over, she's just gonna leave and he'll never see her again. She admits that this is exactly what'll happen. James adds that she's also probably not here to check on him, but instead because she needs something horrible from him. She bluntly tells him that she needs him to act as bait to lure monsters into a trap so she can kill them. Yeah, so it's actually worse than James thought, and at this point he can't help but laugh. He can't maintain his laughter for long though because of how much it hurts with his gunshot wound. James admits that when Erica showed up, he thought it was going to be like some kind of superhero movie where he tagged along on an adventure to get revenge on the monster that killed his friends and that nobody else would die. Now he thinks Erica is just as scared as everyone else and has no idea what she's doing. She says she kind of knows what she's doing, which is actually worse because she knows how bad it could all get. James asks why she's even here at all, and she says because once upon a time there was a little girl in a small town just like this, and she watched something nobody else could see rip open her best friend and eat them. Here we actually get a flashback to Erica as a little girl clutching her stuffed octopus. She was attacked by a monster and it became so powerful that it managed to kill her parents, but she felt she had to do something. Somehow, little Erica hurt the monster with nothing but a kitchen knife. Soon after, a woman in a bandana showed up and helped Erica capture the monster and cage it in her favorite stuffed animal. Then the woman offered to train her at the House of Slaughter to be a monster hunter in the Order of St. George. Erica thought she was going to be a part of something good, but she learned how many monsters there really are out there and how many children die every day. She soon realized that the House of Slaughter does more to keep those deaths quiet and covered up than to stop them from happening. She tells James that she's not going to take him under her wing and train him or anything because this life is horrible. But when they first met, he did ask if he could do something to help, and this is it. She's not a superhero. She's just a tired, sad lady who knows how to kill these things. Eric is interrupted when Tommy's friend Tam comes to the room out of breath and tells her about the phone call with Tommy, that those monsters are in the forest behind the school and may have found some more victims. Back at the school, the sheriff arrives to see how things are going with the parents. Tim talks about how horrible it is to watch them break down at the sight of their dead kids, and he pulls out a couple of beers, offering one to Joe. It's so funny how this guy just keeps pulling out beers. Suddenly, a cop comes in and warns them that they're screaming coming from the woods. We check back in with Tommy and the young teen still surrounded by the monsters. The kid's in tears, screaming when one of the creatures moves in on them. Tommy picks up a rock and smashes it in the face. The kid takes the opportunity to run despite Tommy's warnings, and sure enough, he's impaled by a beast as well. Tommy throws a rock at the monster and it lets go of the boy's lifeless body. Tommy just holds it, sobbing. He tells the monsters to kill him too. At this point, he can't take it anymore, watching all of these innocent people die and feeling helpless to stop it. However, the monsters retreat and a voice speaks out behind him. Sheriff Joe has arrived and his gun is drawn and pointed at Tommy. Honestly, he looks pretty guilty, kneeling on the ground beside 2 bloody corpses. Before we go any further, I want to thank today's sponsor, War Thunder, the most comprehensive and detailed vehicle combat game out there. War Thunder is completely free to play, and you can hop into it on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and mobile. One of the things that makes War Thunder so addictive is just how massive it is. You can take control of over 2,500 tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships from more than 10 major nations. Everything from 1920s biplanes and early armored cars, all the way to modern jets and main battle tanks. What I like about War Thunder is the amount of detail. The sound design, the damage modeling, and the feeling of chaos when a battle gets intense is awesome. And despite how detailed it is, it's easy to pick up and play, so anyone can jump in. And if you use my links in the description or pinned comment to sign up, whether you're brand new or you haven't played in the last 6 months on PC or consoles, War Thunder will give you a massive bonus pack. The bonus includes the exclusive vehicle decorator Eagle of Valor, 100,000 silver lions, and 7 days of premium account. This is only available for a limited time, so don't wait on it. If you want to jump into huge PvP battles with millions of players and try out some incredibly detailed war machines, use my link, sign up for free, and claim your bonus pack. It's a great way to support the channel and have fun at the same time. Thanks again to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. Now back to the story. Issue number 10. Back at the school, Principal Colin asks for the family of Sophie Mahoney to step forward. Tommy's mother comes forward and is pretty harsh towards Collins. I guess if your kid was killed, you'd be pretty jaded too. In the woods, the sheriff tells his deputies to keep the whole situation quiet. They don't need another panic this close to the families. Tommy chimes in saying he didn't do this and that the real killers are out there and will be back here any moment. Joe freaks out on him, telling him to shut the hell up, and the deputies awkwardly head out. Shortly after, Aaron arrives and Joe just says, "Oh God, there's more of you?" He soon realizes this is the man he spoke to on the phone. Aaron tells him that they'll need his authorities to keep the adults down there from panicking. Meanwhile, he'll watch Tommy to make sure he doesn't get into any trouble. Well, we all know what that means. The sheriff goes along with this, saying he needs to go tell a mother and father that they just lost their other kids as well. Tommy knows Aaron must be from the same group as Erica and tells him that she did something to him so he can see the monsters now. Aaron says he's well aware of what she did and pulls out a syringe with a red liquid, then casually says, "We cannot allow you to live." Meanwhile, Tam has given Erica and James a ride to the school, but when they arrive, a cop tells them they'll need to turn around and that they'll resume things tomorrow. Erica and James get out anyway and approach the gym where many of the parents are enraged at being turned away from seeing their children's bodies. They run into the sheriff, who immediately asks why James isn't in the hospital. Erica just ignores him and says he needs to tell her exactly what the hell happened here. He just lays it all out about finding the 3 bodies in the woods and how her friend is watching Tommy right now. Erica looks pretty scared, realizing how close the monsters are, especially since there are a lot of children here with their parents. She tells Joe to get the parents, especially with children, as far away from here as possible, and to take James as deep into the school as they can manage. James tries to protest, but Erica tells him very seriously that this situation is way worse than anyone realizes, and she doesn't want him getting hurt. So Joe has Tim take James into the school while he leads Erica back to Tommy. At the same time, we see an exchange with Tommy's mom and a cop where she's refusing to leave the premises until she sees her daughter. In the woods, Aaron has injected the syringe into Tommy, though it doesn't look like it's going to kill him, but rather drug him to make his death painless. I guess that shows some empathy. Aaron pulls out a knife and says that it is crucial that their secrets don't get into the wrong hands. Before he can slit Tommy's throat, however, Erica jumps in to stop him and knocks him to the ground. She's now realizing that Aaron is here to help cover up these incidents, not help stop them, and that Tommy is just another loose end. Aaron says she's the one who opened this door, not him, and that she knows the rules. Tommy struggles to stand up, and Erica tells the sheriff that he's drugged and will be useless for a few hours. She then slams Aaron up against a tree and tells him that she's going to need his help. He says she's just delaying the inevitable and points out that the more she reveals in front of the sheriff, the more he becomes a target as well. She interrupts him, saying that there are 5 Oscura types and 3 dead bodies, meaning that isn't enough sustenance for a full brood. They'll be in a blood frenzy and they're starving. Aaron sees how dangerous this is and decides to help her after all. She says that this is what none of them understand at the House of Slaughter. While they worry about all the rules, real people are getting hurt. We cut back to the school where a young girl flies her toy airplane through the parking lot. She stops dead in her tracks, however, when she sees a massive monster creep out from the woods. It seems after feeding, the babies have grown in size by quite a bit. Nearby, Sheriff Joe is walking Tommy into the school parking lot, and Tommy sees the monster. monster. He desperately tries to tell Joe to get the little girl, but can hardly speak. Finally, he rushes forward to try and save her himself, but still being drugged, he falls face first onto the ground. Meanwhile, the little girl cries out as she's pulled into the air. To the adults who can't see the monster, she seems to just be floating, and finally, the creature rips her in half. Jesus, this comic is so unforgiving. The parents are in shock, including Tommy's mom, who walks over to try and help the girl, not seeing the beast standing right in front of her. Tommy again runs forward, attempting to save his mom. Meanwhile, James urges Tim to get everyone into the gymnasium, saying more kids will die if he doesn't. So Tim starts calling everyone inside. At the same time, Erica and Aaron show up and believe that because of the massive amount of fear, the monsters will soon be able to kill everyone, not just the kids. Aaron tells Erica to get James and Bien and get as far away as possible to lead the monsters into a trap. On the other hand, he intends to stay here and fight. Erica says he can't fight for shit, but he argues that he passed all the same field tests as her. He tells her he's not an evil man. He doesn't like how the order conducts its business. He just always tried to tip things in the right balance. That's why he's always had her back ever since they lost Jessica. Well, I don't know who Jessica is, but Aaron just got a lot more respectable and he pulls out his knives ready to fight. Erica helps move the others into the gym and Tommy asks if Aaron is really going to fight them alone, but she seems to imply that Aaron isn't intending on actually winning. He charges in, stabbing one of the creatures in the face, but immediately his arm is cut off. He curses and hoped it wouldn't end this soon. In the final panel of the issue, we see the monsters tearing Aaron to pieces and eating him. Whoa. Issue 11 kicks off with a flashback of James shortly after watching all of his friends die. As he watches his last friend get ripped apart and eaten, his father comes running into the woods, clearly unaware of the giant monster right next to him. He holds his son and asks what happened here, and as the creature creeps back into the forest, James says that he did it, realizing that no one would believe the truth. In the present, the monsters finish feasting on Aaron and the fresh corpse of the little girl. In the gym, the survivors sit silently as they listen to the horrible noises outside. Erica comes in and grabs James, telling the sheriff to keep everyone inside until Tommy tells them it's safe. The sheriff is annoyed and confused. Why are they leaving their lives in the hand of Tommy, who's still drugged? He doesn't realize that Tommy's the only poor bastard that can see what's killing them. Erica ignores him and instructs Tommy to check outside every 5 minutes to see if the monsters are still there. Sheriff Joe asks what he's supposed to tell all these people, and Erica says that they just saw a little girl get ripped apart in midair. Tell them that they'll be next if they don't listen. Then her and James head to the other side of the building to sneak out of a window. At the House of Slaughter, we see the woman in the white bandana that we saw before. Her name is Cecilia, and she has a meeting with the old dragon, aka the man with the metal dragon mask. He asks what's bothering her, and she reveals that Aaron Slaughter is dead. Apparently, a video of him being eaten alive by an unseen Oscura type was posted on social media, and shortly after, another video of a young girl being ripped in half appeared online as well. Cecilia says that their friends in Silicon Valley have helped contain the posts, but the old dragon says they need to do a full blackout in Archer's Peak. No internet and no cell connection. They also need to divert any highway traffic away from the town. He then tells her to take point and bring a full team in. I should point out that while they have this conversation, the old man seems to be chowing down on gummy worms, which was an interesting touch. On the old dragon's desk sits a white teddy bear missing an eye. It starts to giggle and he tells Cecilia to ignore it. This little bear seems pretty psychotic. He then says he wants Erica Slaughter brought back alive, but Cecilia thinks she's become too big of a risk. The old dragon cuts Cecilia off and slams his fist on the desk, reminding her that he's the dragon around here and that he wants to speak with Erica himself. Cecilia says it will be done. She walks out into the hall and looks at several doors. One is labeled Black Room and another White Room. She enters the White Room where many more people wearing white bandanas are awaiting her orders. Pretty interesting. So it seems within the House of Slaughter there are different factions or teams or something. Back at the school, Erica helps James climb out of a window, and you can tell it's painful considering his wound. Nearby, one of the monsters is lurking, but it seems they manage to avoid it as they get into a jeep that Erica starts to hotwire. She says if they can find Bien, she can perform the ritual that will let her kill them. James pulls out his phone and sees that he has no service. Erica knows exactly what this means and says they need to move fast. At the same time, James looks up to find the monster right outside of his window, like it's Jurassic Park or something. Issue 12 opens with James running up to a house and banging on the door. His face is covered in blood and tears, and he's crying out for help. Finally, someone answers, and it's Tom, who, if you remember, took Bien to protect her from Aaron and Erica. He says he doesn't know how they found him, but Erica's not getting anywhere near this girl. James falls to his hands and knees and begs for Tom's help, saying that Erica is hurt and he thinks she's dying. So Tom finally gives in and decides to help, following James to the Jeep. Here they find Erica bleeding and slumped over over the steering wheel. She just says, "Hey John." And I should point out what appears to be a mistake in this series. Tom is sometimes called John with no explanation. At first I thought maybe it was two different similar looking characters, but no, it's the same guy. I just decided to pick the name Tom because it reminded me of Officer Tom from Everything Is Fine. Anyway, Erica says when she told him not to hide somewhere stupid, she didn't just mean his parents' house. But he says he doesn't exactly have a lot of spare houses to hide in. He asks what happened, and we get a short flashback of Erica fighting the monster, but getting her arm bitten in the process. With her uninjured arm, she managed to kill the damn thing, so at least that's one down. Tom helps her inside, but he says he needs to know what happened. Erica says she'll explain it the best she can, but she needs to stitch herself up, and quick, because the Order of St. George is coming. It cuts to a black car stopping at a sign outside of Archer's Peak, and some of the white bandanas cover it up with an exit closed sign as they make their way into town. While Erica patches herself up with one hand, Tom kind of unloads on her about this whole messed up situation and how he doesn't understand what's going on. Erica tells him that he's just gonna have to accept that there are things happening here that'll just sound made up, so he's just going to have to listen to what she tells him. She then lays it out so bluntly that it's almost funny. Monsters are real, only children can see them, and she's part of an organization of monster hunters called the Order of St. George. James then adds that the monster that killed his friends had 5 babies and they're going to eat everyone in the school if they don't lure them away. Can you imagine being in Tom's position and hearing all of this? Well, after everything that's happened, he just accepts it. Erica says that laying the trap isn't as simple as dangling a kid out in front of the monsters. She needs to tap back into the invocation that created the monster, and to do that, she's going to need Bien. At the school, Tommy's looking around outside and at first doesn't see anything but some mutilated corpses. He can't tell whether there's 4 dead people or just a couple of people torn into pieces and tossed around. Just as he's about to give them the go-ahead to leave the gym, a monster comes around the corner and he runs back to the others. Right before he gets inside, he spots 4 white masks at the edge of the woods. Meanwhile, Erica approaches Bien, who says she doesn't want to talk to her because she wants to hurt the babies. She says they weren't hurting anybody, they were just eating what their mama brought them. Well, that's one way to look at it. Erica tells the girl that those babies have grown up now and they're killing children. She asks Bien the first time she heard about the monsters, before she even saw them. Bien explains that she thinks it was when she was at a sleepover at Carly Monit's house. James recognizes this name as one of his friends who died was Tyler Monitz. At this sleepover, everyone was telling scary stories when Tyler came in and scared all of the girls by telling a story about the monster in the ravine. The same story he heard from James. Bien and her friends were scared to go into the woods after that because of the monster, and shortly after, one of the girls at the sleepover went missing, Sarah Washington. James tries to interrupt the story to tell Erica something, but she says they need to let Bien finish. The girl says that the more kids that went missing, the more scared she got, until one day, the monster took her back to its cave where she pretended to be dead to survive. After she tells this story, James storms out of the room and Erica goes to speak with him. She finds him sobbing on the back porch. He didn't really think this was all his fault, but now he realizes it is. He was the one who told the scary story to begin with, which birthed the monster, feasting on all these kids' fears. Apparently, this is the reason the monster left him alive that night in the ravine. Erica starts to explain that there are a lot of reasons why a monster is created, and it's not all his fault. But she's interrupted by someone who says that a member of the House of Slaughter would never reveal such secrets, would they? It's Cecilia, and as soon as Erica sees her, she tells James to get Bien and run. However, out of the house comes Tom, being escorted by 2 more people in the white masks. In a jarring moment, Cecilia doesn't hesitate to pull out a knife and slash Tom's throat open. That is a hell of a way to end this issue. Issue 13. In the school parking lot, the white masks from the House of Slaughter find a creature still chewing on Aaron's corpse. They all attack it and kill it with precision. It's kind of interesting how all these white masked members have different melee weapons, like a katana, a bat, and a hatchet. Earlier, Erica seemed to buy several random but scary looking melee weapons as well from the supply store. It makes me wonder if this is some important part of killing them. One of the group named Maxine seems to be in charge in place of Cecilia. Weirdly, she grabs the black bandana from Aaron and says she's keeping it, almost like a trophy, but who knows. It kind of seems like these different factions in the House of Slaughter have a rivalry. You know, there's actually several offshoots of Something Is Killing the Children that explain a lot of this stuff. There's one called Book of Slaughter and another called House of Slaughter, so if you guys want more lore, let me know and I'll consider covering those as well. Anyway, that was a little bit of a detour, so where was I? Oh yeah, so Maxine says they need to deal with the locals next and they make way for the gymnasium. Maxine adds that full containment means they can be as bloody as as they want to be. Well, that doesn't sound good. As Tom chokes on his own blood, Erica shields James' eyes and screams at Cecilia, asking what the hell is wrong with her. She tells Erica that there are consequences to her actions, and really these deaths are her fault for not following protocol. Erica angrily says that she hopes one day it sinks in that the real reason they're here has nothing to do with a few dozen dead children. They came here to kill people, not monsters. Cecilia retorts that she's here to uphold the secrecy that allows their order to operate, which does save children. But Erica asks her when the last time she even saw a monster was. Cecilia doesn't humor her question and says that she's about to take Erica with her under armed guard. As they argue, Tom pulls out his gun and fires at Cecilia, but one of the other white masks jumps in front of her, sacrificing himself. The other henchman tries to stop him, but Tom manages to shoot him too. Finally, Cecilia slashes his arm, forcing him to drop the gun. Clutching his bleeding neck, Tom manages to tell Cecilia, "Fuck you," and she finishes the job, cutting through his head with her knife. Kinda sad to see Tom, or John, whatever his name is, die like this, but he went out like a badass, and this little diversion actually gave Erica, James, and Bien a chance to escape. Hiding out in the woods, Erica asks James if he can find his house from here. He doesn't look too good and his shirt is bloody. It looks like maybe in the escape he tore open his stitches. He asks Erica what they're going to do at the house, and she dramatically says they're gonna play a little game. Outside the school gym, Maxine demands that Sheriff Joe and the others open up. In the meantime, she instructs her men to find another way in. The sheriff, Tim, and Tommy discuss whether they should open the door. Joe makes the case that they're Erica's people, but Tommy points out that Erica doesn't seem to like her people all that much. They can't call her either since they shut down the phone service. As they discuss this, the gym lights go out and there's a loud smash on the outside of the doors. This repeats until the doors smash open. Maxine just drove her freaking car through them. She tells everyone to gather in the center of the gym if they want to get through this alive. Tommy knows that this isn't good, but there's no way to escape. They're surrounded. As they enter James's house, Erica apologizes for forcing him to come back here. She tells him and Bien that for this to work, they need to listen to her every word. She pulls out the octopus and tells it she doesn't want any crap. It knows how bad things have gotten and they need to get this done. Surprisingly, it doesn't argue with her and she sets the doll down. Like before, the spirit of the creature inside manifests into a huge glowing form and Erica says it's time to begin. Issue 14. Bien is freaked out at the sight of Erica's monster and says she doesn't like it. Erica says she doesn't like it either and explains that the House of Slaughter taught her to tame it and afterwards it changed shape. She says that some of the other kids in the order made their monsters look pretty, but Erica didn't want to forget what it was and what it did to her, so she kept it ugly. Bien asks if the monster is still dangerous and it replies yes with a devilish grin. Erica clarifies that it's only dangerous to her. She instructs the two kids to lay down and close their eyes. She tells them to imagine they're lying in a big white empty space, not too cold, not too warm, but completely comfortable, breathing darkness in and the whiteness out. She tells Bien to keep breathing and asks James to think back to when he first told his friends the story and to remember that moment exactly. Erica's monster and her start to see an echo of the story playing like a movie in the room, with James getting up from the computer and looking out the back window. She tells him to take the image from a story and hold it in his mind. As he does, Erica can see an echo of the creature staring in through the window. Bien starts crying, worried that the monster will come again, and Erica assures her she'll keep her safe. She then asks Bien to picture the monster from the story she heard in her head, and asks her what it looked like. Bien opens her eyes and says, "It looked like that." The octopus spirit then projects an image of the creature as if it's taking on its shape. I hope this sequence wasn't too confusing, but some weird shit's going down and it's hard to explain because of all the visuals. At the school gym, Maxine and her posse start having everyone empty their pockets, collecting any cameras or phones they might have. Sheriff Joe tells her he's done everything her friends in masks asked them to do, and he doesn't want them treating these people like this. Maxine snaps at him, making it clear that Erica and Aaron aren't her friends, and that she's here to clean up their mess. He tries to argue with her, but she just says she's gonna bury her axe in his neck if he doesn't do what she tells him. While this is all going down, Tommy's mother finds the body bag of her dead daughter, Sophie. She unzips the bag and gets a look at the poor girl's corpse, and immediately breaks down into tears. She holds her daughter's cold cheek and says she would switch places with her in a heartbeat. Maxine comes walking over like an asshole and tells them to group up with the others. Tommy explains that they're saying goodbye to his dead sister. She asks for Tommy's phone and then tells them that they have 2 minutes to join the others. Meanwhile, at James' house, he's freaking out at the glowing monster in his living room, but Erica says it's still Octo, he's just shaped into a copy of the mother monster. It doesn't really matter though, James is straight up reliving his trauma and crying his eyes out. Erica says she's going to stop this from happening to anyone else. She picks up the octopus doll and chucks it outside where it mimics the monster and crushes cries out into the night. So this is how the trap works, using the copy to lure the other monsters in who will think it's their mother. Back in the gym, Tommy tells his mom that they need to get moving along, but she says she's staying right here and they can kill her if they have to. She just doesn't care anymore. Tommy kneels down and hugs his mom, saying he's still her son and he does care. He completely breaks down in tears, apologizing for not being able to protect his sister, and he wishes he was better. But he does have an idea that might get her out of here and Sophie into a proper grave. He walks up to the sheriff and tells him what these people are really here for: cleanup, to make sure nobody spreads the story of the monster. Joe asks him what he suggests they do, and Tommy replies that they should give them a better story. At the same time, Erica waits in the backyard for the monsters, and Octo tells her coldly that she's going to die. With crazy angry eyes, Erica tells him to get back into his octopus. She needs to work off some anger. The monsters move in and we get a stellar action sequence. Erica moves in, stabbing one creature and breaking another's leg with her fist. Then she leaps into the air and buries her knife into one of their heads, finishing it off before moving to the next. Obviously, description can't do this fight justice. Erica's a total badass and straight up wallops these motherfuckers. It's awesome seeing her standing in the grass covered in blood. Back in the gym, Tommy is demanding that Sheriff Joe arrest him, confessing to all of the murders and killing the little girl in the parking lot in front of everyone. The sheriff is confused until Tommy makes it a little clearer. If all these people saw him do it, then there's nothing that needs to be covered up, right? He tells the crowd how they saw him kill the little girl and how the sheriff arrested him in front of everyone, and that was the end of all the killing. Maxine catches on and tells him that this isn't gonna work. The monsters are still out there and they'll kill again. Gripping her axe, she says there's a cleaner way to end all of this. Okay, so let's move into the final issue of the Archer's Peak arc of Something is Killing the Children. Erica sits bloody and bruised in James' backyard, having finally killed the rest of the monsters. She stands up and struggles to walk toward the house, passing the chopped up carcasses of the monsters she killed. She slowly walks into the kitchen and douses herself with water before slumping to the floor. She asks James to bring her her backpack and pulls out her phone, calling the House of Slaughter and letting them know that the brood is dead, and to tell Cecilia it's time to go home. On the brink of total exhaustion, she asks James if she can use his shower. She stinks. It cuts to Cecilia getting the call, and she enters the school telling Maxine to stand down. With the monsters dead, she goes along with Tommy and insists that the sheriff arrest him for committing these terrible crimes. She tells him that everyone in this room must understand what transpired here, but this will be the end of it. Kinda sad that Tommy is sacrificing himself like this. He was a naive idiot a lot of the comic, but I think it's safe to say that he's made up for it. Cecilia then speaks to Principal Collins and tells him that the school will receive an anonymous donation that will more than cover the cost of damages on the property. In exchange, he'll handle the whole situation discreetly. She starts to leave and says they need to collect Aaron's body and destroy all the phones they collected. The rest will be hearsay, and they can manage that. Maxine isn't happy with all of this and starts arguing with her that these people have seen too much, but Cecilia harshly corrects her and says if she questions her again, it'll be a decade before she's back on the field. 2 weeks later, a news report covers the events, saying that Tommy Mahoney confessed to the murder of 25 children, finally killing his last victim in full view of the crowd. As the report plays, we see a montage of the school being rebuilt and Tommy's mother crying at the side of Sophie's grave. Erica heads to the bus stop where all the missing children's posters are being torn down. When she gets there, she finds that the old dragon is waiting for her on the bench. She sits down and they have a little chat. The dragon says he remembers when she was just a girl, and she got so angry at the House of Slaughter that she walked halfway across Chicago to get on a bus to Disney World. But how Jessica found her and brought her back. There's that name again. It seems like Jessica was an important person to Erica. The old dragon asks if Erica remembers what Jessica told her, and she repeats it, that the order is old and stuck in its ways, but without it, children would die. There's a pause and the old man says he misses Jessica terribly. Erica looks pissed and reminds him that he sent her to her death. She says that he's not going to convince her to care less. But the old man says to the contrary, he wishes that half of the people at the House of Slaughter cared as much as her. As he eats some gummy worms, he says that all he wants is for her to show a little discipline. She could have ended this from the beginning. Erica lays out exactly what that would look like, by her killing Tommy in the cave, letting James bleed out from his gunshot, and using Bien as bait. Then she could have killed the little girl and burned all the children's corpses to hide the evidence before hopping on the next bus out of town. The problem is, then nobody would have had any closure. The old man says she wouldn't have had to kill Bien. She could have recruited her and expanded her branch of the family. Furthermore, he asks what Erica was trying to prove with all this. She honestly answers that she just wanted an outcome where everyone would live. But the dragon reminds her that more children died as a result of her actions. Erica, of course, argues that more people died because the order got in her way. The old man then changes the subject, asking Erica to come home. Now that Aaron is dead, she's the last black mask in the House of Slaughter. Erica rejects this, and in fact, she renounces the House of Slaughter and the Order of St. George. She's going to keep hunting monsters until it kills her, but not for them. The man says that he can't accept this and reminds her that the House of Slaughter is only one of many houses. She just tells him to try and stop her and then gets on the bus. As she sits down, she hears a voice. It's James asking where they're going. She immediately tells him no, but he laughs and says he's actually getting off in Milwaukee to stay with his mom for a while. This relaxes her a bit. He tells Erica that they still can't find Bien's family, so the woman from the police station is going to take her in. James then starts to cry and tells her thank you, that he doesn't know what he would have done if all of this happened and there was nothing he could do. She gave him something he could do to help, and that meant the world. On the final page, James asks how far she's going this time, and she says she has no idea. The bus hits the highway, and we can see a sign saying, "Leaving Archer's Peak." A fitting end as this closes the Archer's Peak arc of Something is Killing the Children. This is a nice place to stop for now, but let me know if you want me to cover the next story arc, cause I'd love to keep going on this series. As I've said, I love the art style in this comic as well as the world building. I could look at these drawings all day. One big theme that I thought this arc really touched on is the balance between principle and utility. Erica cares a lot about the people whose lives are destroyed by the monsters. In principle, she can't bring herself to kill innocent people even if it might bring about a greater good. We can see the fruits of her actions by how she brought closure to James, who would have gone on to live a confused and shattered life. However, the House of Slaughter takes a more utilitarian or consequentialist approach. Their goal is to stop as many killings as possible at large, even if that means they need to do some terrible things to achieve it. It's the classic the ends justify the means, or you have to break a few eggs to make an omelet argument. And the thing is, they may be right. Their way of doing things might lead to overall less death, even if they would have to kill some innocent people to achieve it. It seems like there is probably a middle ground here, but it's hard not to sympathize with Erica's viewpoint. Is it okay to cause harm to people even if it meant saving lives? Maybe I'm taking this into an unnecessary philosophical view, but that's just what came to mind reading this one. Anyway, what did you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Huge thanks again to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. Don't forget you can play War Thunder for free right now on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, or mobile. And if you're a new player or haven't logged in for 6 months on PC or consoles, you'll get that massive bonus pack with premium vehicles, 100,000 Silver Lions, and 7 days of premium. Use my link in the description or the pinned comment to claim it. Shout out to Kill Me Katie as always for the intro and outro music, which is likely playing right now. And if you want to see your art at the end of my videos, email me a submission to the address below with a name or social media handle. But I appreciate you guys watching at all. This is Grief speaking. Goodbye, friends.
Wake up tomorrow.